everyone. How are you all doing? Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to our Roundtable Extra. We're doing two this month. Insane, guys. What's going on? I don't know why I'm doing two this month, but I just felt like doing it. No, not really, actually. There's actually some really important stuff, obviously. You know, the landscape of UK politics has changed rapidly. And it's been it has been a few weeks since we had the roundtable with both guests that we have here. So I think it's really important to kind of continue the discussion about it, because obviously things could change quite dramatically, or things might not change at all. But I've got two very lovely guests with me here. Of course, we have the right winger.
I couldn't resist it. Sorry,
I know you couldn't resist it at all. Daily Blase is here with me.
Hello, everyone. How are you, my friend?
He'll be right winging it tomorrow on the Friday Frolics at 5 p.m. as well. So he'll probably be a lot better than some of the England players, that's for sure, when it comes to the football pitch. So you can definitely check that out tomorrow afternoon. As well. And my other guest is also was joined on the roundtable and was actually on last week as well for the Reform Watch show, which was also really good. Of course it was. Oh, and of course it is GRAEMEPRYCE. Oh, power to the people. I always got to try to get that power to people language. Graham, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you are doing well.
I'm all right, mate. I've had a very busy day, but I'm here, so you know, all doing well.
Well, at least you're not sunburned. You know, I mean, to be fair, it is quite warm out there. Maybe we'll touch on the heat wave a little bit, maybe a bit later on, chat. We'll see. But so far, guys, so it seems like at this point, there's not really going to be anyone challenging Andy Burnham. I think it's pretty 99.9% certain he's going to be Prime Minister, unless something crazy happens within the next few weeks, which is highly unlikely. So it looks like Andy Burnham's going to become Prime Minister. There's no one going to challenge him. I think this is just a dud leadership contest. Now, some people have argued that perhaps they should just make the change now and just get it over with. I've seen some of those. Some people have argued that as well. Obviously, we don't actually. We've got a couple of ideas of things that perhaps he might be bringing forward, but we still don't know. Obviously, the people that are definitely going to be around him. It's lots of rumors and speculation as well, in particular about the Chancellor. But I want to start with, I don't know how much you guys listened to the speech on Monday that he made, and I thought one of the most significant things coming out of his speech was about housing and how important it is for everybody to be able to have a home over them. And he talked about council houses in particular, which I think was a very positive message. And Darren, I want to start with you on council houses, because I think this is a very positive message. But how realistic is this? Because originally in their manifesto, the original Labour manifesto, they wanted to build 1.5 million homes. Now, obviously, we know we're not going to hit that target. But how realistic is Andy Burnham about building council houses? Can he actually achieve that, in your view, realistically?
I suppose it depends on how many he builds, isn't it, really? Because, like, I remember, I think it probably would have been about last year, every now and again, because, like, maybe in a Bradford City fan, I go to home games, and I usually go for a couple of hours drink before game, and he's in the building trade, and I remember having a chat about him, because I said they were on about building, is it 1.5 million homes or something?
Yeah, that's what he wanted to build in the first Parliament, is 1.5 million homes. Yeah,
and and I just said to him, I says, and I thought that'll be brilliant, but do you think that'll be possible? And because, like, he's more into the building trade than I've ever been. What I know about the building trade, I can write on the back of a stamp and still have enough to write all my name, address, bank details, and whatever else. And he said, I think the only trouble they're going to have is who's going to build them. We are crying out for bodies, you know, to build these homes. So Also, you get, you just wonder, is he just saying what what he thinks people want to hear as well? You know, because like the one thing's for certain, what I like made me giggle was after his speech, all the mouth frothing right wingers. How dare he not take questions from us? How can we scrutinise? So is he just saying what he thinks people want to hear? Only time will tell, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, Graham, how do you feel about what he said and from parts of his speech, from what you've heard?
I mean, it's encouraging to hear him talking about housing because it is a massive issue, and it's not just that it's a massive issue for average people. It's also it's a big thing that would help push Farage and Reform back as well, because one of their biggest plus points, I mean, now it's bollocks, but you hear people saying all the time, oh, these immigrants, they get houses, and they don't. That's just not true. But I can understand the point that they're saying in that people do struggle to get houses. So I can understand why people feel hard done to about it. Like someone's mentioned in the comments, it's not as simple as just saying, we're going to build these houses, though. You've got to find planning permission, you've got to have bricklayers, you've got to be able to get the materials. You know, it's a lot more complicated than just, like you've just said, Reagan. I wonder if is he saying what he thinks people need to hear? Because I do think we've had some warning, haven't we, from people who know him well, that he is a man who might be somebody who would do that. So we'll have to see if he follows through. I think the 1.5 million houses thing is a little bit of a unattainable goal. If you could do 1 million, that'd be good enough. But are they even going to get there? Well, they'll do more than the Tories did, but will it be enough?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think they'll definitely do more. Excuse me. I think they'll definitely do more homes than the Tories. I'm pretty confident of that. But how many of these homes, like up to this point, a lot of the homes that have been built have been homes that have not been the kind of homes that people need. It's been the biggest problem. We've seen even in London, where Green councillors have been fighting the London mayor over certain homes being built because they were the kind of homes that weren't suitable for ordinary Londoners, that were unaffordable. So I've seen that in a few boroughs where there's been fighting over homes there as well. But the other thing as well is that even with Andy Burnham talking about wanting to build so many council homes, it's not just, I mean, he can say that in Manchester. He will have friends and influence in Manchester and in the north to build them, with most politicians out there, but not everywhere across the country is going to be in agreement with him. You've got to convince, and he talked in his speech about bringing along other parties and working together and sort of thing. And the thing is that I like it sounds nice on paper, but it literally reminds me of Barack Obama trying to do that with Republicans, and it fell flat on his face many, many times. And I don't see how often Kemi Baganoot and the Conservatives right now, because obviously they are the opposition, how often are they going to agree to do things that actually are in the interest of the public, to improve people's lives? And even if he gets around the table with them and tells them this, the Conservatives are still going to tell Andy to stuff it, because they don't want to give any inch whatsoever. Now, the Greens and the Lib Dems will probably be more compelling, because obviously they want to improve people's lives more. So you'll probably get more. You'll get more cooperation from them. But
SNP to an extent as well.
Yeah, and SNP and maybe to an extent as well. But I don't know what he hasn't really said too much about what he's going to do with other nations. He was mainly, his main focus was obviously on England, about prioritizing England. So I'm not sure what his plans are in terms of him being prime minister, in contrast to with Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. I can't comment on that because he hasn't really said anything about that. But one thing he did mention and talking about a lot was devolution of power. Now, again, I've heard this before. Didn't Keir Starmer talk about giving more power back as well? And well, has it really made a difference? And now, I granted, I do accept this premise that it takes time to fix things, to change things. I accept that, especially after what we've had 14 years of the Conservatives. I do accept that. But like I wanted to see some of that change at least in the near 2 years of Keir Starmer's reign, and I haven't really seen that or even felt that. So Graham, how realistic is the devolution of power? Can he actually, will he be actually to do this? Because, you know, London's not going to just allow the power to seep away to other areas of the UK. There's going to be forces in his way going to be forces in his way to doing this.
Oh, I don't go on there often, as you know, but Twitter that night after he made that speech, the stuff about not just devolution, other things as well, but it was like they just don't, you know, there's nothing he can say is ever going to be good enough, and whether he intends to actually follow it through or not, I believe that he probably does with the devolution thing, but will it actually make that much of a difference, and can he achieve it in the time he's got left in office? I think time will tell. I believe that he wants to, and I think that's less less flannel than the talking about the council houses, because I think that it will make more of a difference politically to him. But whether they'll be able to do it or whether they'll actually carry it through in the time he's got, who knows?
Is there any is there any realistic of it happening in your view, Darren, for this devolution? Because we've heard this before, really.
Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, sometimes because like it's a little bit like the Trump effect, you know. It'll say, "Vote for me, your gas will go down, this will go down, that'll do." It's sometimes you just think you're just basically saying what people want to hear. Now, do I believe that he wants to do it? I get the feeling, and with you, Graham, I get the feeling that's what he wants to do, but whether he gets to do it is different matter, isn't it, really? Because when it comes to all parties, you know, whether it's within your own parties, you have enemies within your own parties as well as opposite parties as well, who will quite happy to throw in the spanner in the works for their own personal political gain. So who knows?
And he's going to get one hell of a kickback from London, because they don't like that. They want all the power to be concentrated there where all the money is and all the posh houses are and all the gentrification is. You know, they don't want little northern towns or, you know, in Wales or Scotland. They don't want power to be anywhere else. And he's up against that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is because they're holding too much power and too much of the purse, and it just needs to be distributed more fairly. This is the big problem. But getting that power out, it's going to be a problem for sure. One of the things he's spoken about.
I'm not sure I believe he
can. One of the other things he's spoken about, spoken about a lot, has been in the past, has been about social care. So there's been a long support of the idea that social care should become a more universal system. So in a speech back in 2023, he suggested that this could be funded by replacing the inheritance tax with a new national care levy. He has suggested everyone would pay with his new tax, whilst obviously the wealthiest would pay the most. The Health Foundation think tank estimated in 2024 that an NHS-style model of universal comprehensive care could cost around £17 billion in additional funding by 2025-2026. I like the idea of a universal social care system, but this was back in 2023. This was 3 years ago. It does say a cheaper option would be the Scottish style system with basic protections for everyone against the same care costs, which would cost around £7 billion by 2035-2036 to replicate in England, according to a think tank there as well. I don't know what his position on social care is. He didn't make that in this speech, but I think, you know, the idea of a universal social care system is something I very much support.
Me too.
I think it's something that's really, I think it would also push a lot of voters away from the Lib Dems back to Labour as well, because that is obviously something that the Lib Dems bang on about as well a lot, with health and social care. And considering their leader obviously relies on social care for his son, that it resonates a lot more with people, because it affects Ed Davey very personally when social care is not doing well. I don't know. Again, I like the big ideas, but how realistic in this situation can we actually achieve it? And the problem is right, there's so many things going on right now, going on around us right now. And it's just like, I don't know if he's going to ever announce something like that. But if he does, I just think it would be another positive idea. How really, like, what do you think of because you said you like the idea of a universal social care system that basically, like the NHS, Graham, we would all just basically pay into it like the NHS say, basically, per se.
Yeah, I would fully support that, but again, I think he's just going to get massive pushback from all the people who are just like, no, we don't want anything different, we don't want anything new, everything anything anybody proposes, we're just going to reply by saying, well, how are you going to afford it, and you can't do that. And I think we're at risk of that. But I also think as well, he's got to bear in mind that the effect that trying to wrangle the whole social care system had for Theresa May. It very, very nearly sunk here, didn't it? The dementia tax. And he's got to be. I think he's got to be very careful how he treads as he goes into this. It's with the triple lock as well. That's another one. You've got to be very, very careful how you go about it. And he could just say or do or suggest, or even it could be said by somebody in the frigging Daily Mail or something that is, that it's going to be a bad thing and it'll affect people's inheritances and stuff, and he'll just get trashed for it. And whether it's true or not, he'll get slayed for it. So I like the idea of it, but I think again, it's a bit like what I've said just about the last subject as well. It's like, I believe in that he wants to do this, but I don't know if I believe he can do it. I think all bets are off, aren't they, until he gets in and we see whether he's any bloody better at dealing with the comms and dealing with the media than Starmer was.
What's a realistic timetable for you then, Graham? Like, what's realistic? Like a year to see what he does?
I think if there's not been serious improvements in a year, then we might be looking at another, Starmer Mark II. I know there's going to be things that are going to take longer than that. I know some kinds of legislation takes longer than a year to go through. So in some ways, it's not necessarily fair to just say give someone a year. But there's people out there saying, oh, after the first 100 days, if things aren't turned around and our bills aren't cheaper and it costs 12 pence for a bag of sugar in the shop, then he's a bastard and we need to hang him. It's like, but you've got to give him a bit longer than that. But I think if a year, he's been a prime minister for a year and people aren't starting to feel better, then it's going to feel like Groundhog Day, isn't it? It's going to feel like Starmer Mark II, and that's going to offend people. And we could end up just with the same thing and with another prime minister that is less popular than Nigel fucking Farage.
Yeah, I think one of the things the mainstream media talks about is what they do in the first 100 days, isn't it, Darren? Like they'd say, like, when the prime minister comes in, it's like, what have they done in the first 100 days when they come in? I mean, like, I do feel that he needs to come forward with something positive straight out the bat to kind of like send a positive mess to, basically not just to send positive messages, but to actually show how serious he is. Because if he could deliver something quick and fast that can actually like, oh, this is actually really, really good, I think that definitely can send a positive message there.
It's the opposite of Starmer, who got into power and immediately delivered some things where people were like, oh, that's shit. That's not what I expected. He's got to be the opposite of that.
Yeah, he's got to be more positive. Yeah, he's got to be more positive.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like you look at Trump, whether you like him or not, when he speaks, whatever he wants to do, he proper sells it. He sells it. He sells it. And it's just, and I think that's the same with Andy Burnham as well. I think, really put a positive spin on it. Because, like, one thing I remember when it came to the Makerfield election, one thing I noticed, he was out of the traps with the video, wasn't he?
Yes.
Walking the streets, and it resonated. It absolutely resonated, and it got him off to that fantastic start, didn't it? And I think that's exactly what he needs to do. It's like when he, because like when I watched that video, I did watch. I thought I'll have a look in the comments below, because some of them are just absolutely diamond. One guy said, "Oh, that's it. Is done, finished. What's he drinking? A lager? He should have drunk an ale. You know, Farad would have drunk an ale." But yeah, he got that video, and he made that video, and he just give that relatable type of man on the street vibe, didn't he? Like Zach Polanski didn't he, when he first came onto the scene?
Yeah, that very first video Zach Polanski did, where he was running for Green leader, like that went viral. That video.
Yeah. So clearly he took inspiration from Zach Polanski from the looks of it, and I get the feeling it's the same here. He has to get off to a good start, you know, really get off to a good bit. And I get the feeling he won't surprise me if he did, because like you look at Keir Starmer, you get the feeling he was just a political idiot, wasn't he? You just, you know, when you get in, you don't say, "Oh, it's so bad, is this? Oh, we're in for tough times." And you think, no, your manifesto was about change. Manifesto, what are you doing? What are you saying? Right, we get, you know, right, you know, your pensioners. Oh, you know, you on the well, you know, you were on benefits.
Yeah, the benefits
Not
stuff
looking
is
good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was in his speech there, he said about he's been kind of saying some of the similar things that Labour have been saying, like about, you know, we want to get people back into work, but we also
there is brand consistency.
Yeah, but he didn't say. I didn't hear him say anything about reducing the welfare bill. And I've said this before, like, you can't reduce the welfare bill.
I noticed that was conspicuously absent, especially considering Kimmy Badenoch's banging on about it all the time lately as well.
Yeah, well, she's just like she's just a screaming woman across the other side, you know. That's all she does, you know. I mean, some of the other policies, like, I do feel like other policies he's going to try and let other people run them, like immigration, for example. He's just going to go with the government's narrative on that, because he doesn't really want to deal with that per se or change anything. So I just think he's just going to try and keep to it. He actually said in the past during the campaign that he said net migration needs to fall further. He said that during the campaign at Makerfield there. He talked a lot about reindustrialization as well, like as well, which was other thing in his key policy speech, which was like, and I've mentioned this before for those who don't know, but like when Alex Political X covered it in his analysis piece, because I listened to a few different people's positions, and it was like, it didn't sound like going forward, the deep reindustrialization. It sounded like going back to the old days. It felt more like, trying to resonate with older voters. And I can get that to a certain extent. You're trying to resonate with older voters because, of course, you know, they're the ones. It's the older voters who vote more than the younger people.
Exactly.
But you've got to give something to the young. But what exactly are you reindustrializing? Exactly. He wasn't very clear on that. Like, you're not bringing back the coal mines. You're not bringing back, like, I don't know what exactly you're planning to reindustrialize exactly. And also you need to, like, creating jobs in rural areas is extremely difficult. I think that the big challenge is getting investment in rural areas, in areas outside of London. I think that's going to be the big challenge. And I think they had a I think they had a really hard time doing that even under Keir Starmer's premiership. But I think we all know the reason why we have gone more than 10 years with a struggle of getting investment in the UK. And it was the one word was not mentioned at all in his speech, and that was Brexit.
Yes, I noticed he didn't mention that.
Yeah, there was no mention of that, the biggest barrier to all of this. And it's really frustrating that there was no talk about that whatsoever. In particular, when we know that ever since Brexit, we've had 6 prime ministers in 10 years, and he's going to just be another one. He's just going to be another one that's going to get kicked to the curb in all of this if he doesn't look at this on there. So business, I'm not too sure about. I mean, he also he did touch on water and energy, but he hasn't. He's talked about it, but he hasn't said about nationalizing them. But he said something about greater public control was his phrase, and I have no idea what that means. But it doesn't change the fact that they still suck. Doesn't change the fact that they still cost more. What it would be nice if he came straight out the block and saying, okay, I'm freezing your water bills, or I'm reducing your water bills this year, or something like that. Straight away, people would be like, huh? Oh, okay. That would pique people's interest if he was to do something like that. Just borrow the money. Who gives a shit? If you do something like that, straight away, you're resonating with people, even people who have no relation to politics. It's this guy reduced my water bills. I'm voting for him straight off the bat, something like that straight out the bat as prime minister would really send a real positive message. But
it's a bit cynical to think like that, but it is the way it is. A lot of people don't pay attention to politics until it seriously affects them or their wallet, do they?
Yeah. I do think he is sending positive vibes. He will have a lot more positive message than Keir Starmer.
Yeah,
but how much of that will actually resonate with people? I think that's going to be the issue there.
He's a lot more personable than Keir Starmer straight away. I mean, the way that he stood there and he was able to just speak to a few people before you could see the difference in when he was just making it improvising to when he actually started his speech. There was a difference in tone, and I think you never saw that difference in tone with Keir Starmer. Even when he was giving an off-the-cuff comment, it felt like it was scripted, and he had a discussion with Morgan McSweeney about whether it was okay to say it or not first.
He needed permission. Is that okay, Morgan? Okay, great.
I know Darren mentioned it earlier. Something else I noticed that was more about what he didn't say than what he did. He didn't take questions at the end. I thought that was a really good thing, because he stood there and made this speech, and then he didn't give GB News, the Daily Mail, Talk TV, Sky are as bad sometimes. He didn't give all these people a chance to rubbish everything he'd just said before he walked off the stage, whereas Starmer always did. And I know some people are criticising him for not taking questions, but it wasn't supposed to be a huge thing, and he's not prime minister yet, so he didn't really have to. And I thought that was a good decision that he made there, because it meant that the only impact that was made on people was what he'd actually said, not the answer he'd given to Chris Wilson or Beth Rigby asking stupid questions about immigration or grooming gangs or Nigel Farage.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Nigel Farage, that's a nice segue. There, he's he's still got that £5 million over his head, but that still ain't going away, chat. But it's getting even better for Nigel Farage, chat, because a report came out today that Nigel Farage has been reported to the Standard Watchdog over crypto lobbying. The commissioner is asked to investigate the reform Russian leader after a private meeting with the Bank of England governor. The Standards Watchdog has been urged to investigate whether Nigel Farage lobbied the Bank of England to drop a cryptocurrency plan that could be costly for the billionaire bankroll and his party, potentially a breach of parliamentary rules. So problems for Nigel Farage are piling up even more, aren't they, Darren?
Clearly, he still has his supporters, though. Shame you've not seen that clip of Angela from Gloucestershire on the Jeremy Vine show, right? It's hilarious. It's so hilarious. Even if he tied up his grandmother, and fed her cat food, she would still vote for him. And the guy who followed her after, he would even hilarious, because they basically asked the guest asked him, would you have a problem with him? Do you have a problem with him basically doing videos on Cameo for violent prisoners, who violent protesters who were prisoners? And he went, no. So there are people out there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he does. He could strangle a cat in front of them. they will still vote for him. There's still some people out there, but yeah, and that's they basically called it a witch hunt. Well, it's not a witch hunt, really, is it? It's scrutiny. It's scrutiny, isn't it? It's just basically
it's a bit resonating with a little bit. It's a bit resonating. I know it's not the same, but you guys remember that there was things around Donald Trump swirling in his run for his first presidential run. There was those swirls about allegations about, long before all the stories came out about Trump. But at that time, when he in the run up to his presidential campaign, there was 1 or 2 stories just popping up about him about sexual allegations and whatnot, and they were dismissed. But there were stories around him, but nothing that was going to really damage and harm him. And I just wonder just how resonating of this is going to be with Nigel Farage, where a lot of people will say, as you said, a lot of people will basically say, I don't care, this man's going to save our country, even though he's going to literally burn it to the ground. But the other thing as well, I've heard as well, is that if he ends up having to have a recall petition and has to fight and contest his seat, how realistic is it that he could lose his seat? That's another question I have for you guys, because we know that Rupert Lowe has said that he will go, he will throw the kitchen sink literally to knock Nigel Farage off Clacton. But how realistic?
I'd love to see Nigel Farage in the kitchen sink.
But in all seriousness, though, but can we a massive amount of people voted in Clacton for Nigel Farage at the last election. How realistic, if any, can he actually be knocked off in that in a by-election if he does end up having the challenge for it? Graeme, what do you think? Can he be knocked off in Clacton of all places?
I hate to agree with him because I cannot stand the man. There's only really, I think, Trump that I hate more than him in the whole world. But I think he's not necessarily wrong when he says part of the reason that Andy Burnham surged so much in Makerfield was because people felt like they were voting to get Starmer out. So I don't think we can expect something that would be a repeat of Makerfield. But I also don't think that he's as comfortable in his seat as in Clacton as some people might think. I think a lot of it would come down to how the other parties responded, because it's not an area where Labour can win, so you can't rally behind Labour. The Greens aren't going to win in somewhere like Clacton. They've got nothing to offer Clacton. It looked like it would need to be people rallying behind the Tories. Who could actually use this challenger in Clacton? And I suspect that he'd have a damn good chance of just winning it again, and then he would be smug as a fucking bug in a rug, wouldn't he, the bastard? Imagine his face when he maybe run that again in a by-election.
It's actually, I'm actually glad you said that, because actually it's just resonated with me actually that it could end up turning into a massive positive for him and actually create an even bigger bounce for reform, because right now things are shaky right now because reform, though they're still in their head in the polls, but only just. But the thing is, if Andy Burnham comes in, right, and then Andy Burnham comes in, and then obviously we don't know how Labour's going to how people are going to react to Labour and what they do and whatnot, but if all these stories about Nigel Farage continue, and then he has a recall petition, and then he has a by-election, and he wins the by-election, all of a sudden, everything the momentum swings back to reform from Andy and Labour.
Exactly.
So it could, in fact, actually help reform if they end up having a by-election, which I think, because there's you're right, because there's not really anyone that can challenge him in Clacton.
Labour
Conservatives aren't. The Conservatives aren't there. They didn't do bugger all. I remember in the run up to the general election when people were asking in Clacton, people were just saying that nothing was changing for them. People didn't think anything was changing. I mean, nothing's changing for them now, but they just felt like, what was the point?
Exactly. There's a little part of me that thinks Yeah, there's a little part of me as well, though, that is like, well, they've had 2 years of Farage as their MP now. How many of them are disappointed with him? How many of them have tried to find some sort of help and not being able to? I know he does run an office, you know, but people can find help from there, but they never can get any sort of personal touch from him. You know, the majority of people in Clacton might have walked past him on the front of the, you know, on the front of the sea at some point, but they won't have had any sort of personal interaction with him. And there must be a lot of people that are disappointed with him, but is it enough? Is it enough? You know,
the thing is, I just don't see like I've said this so many times. Like, what has he done for the people of Clacton? Like, I've always said this whenever people, well, you know, I've always said, what has he actually done in Clacton to improve people's lives? Like, answers on a postcard, I always say, and I just don't get the answers. I just don't ever get the answers. I mean, maybe I need to pull up the local paper, and maybe they'll tell me something that happened that improved people's lives at Clacton, but it didn't actually involve Nigel Farage, but he'll take the credit for it. I don't know.
I did a little bit of research a couple of weeks back. It was one of the videos I did, and I was like, I really wanted to go and find out that he's a shit local MP and that, you know, everyone's disappointed, but unfortunately he's not. What he's done is he's used the ridiculous amount of money that he's been donated and stuff to set up an office where people can go in and generally have the stuff dealt with in a reasonable time. So although he's not held surgeries and you might not be able to directly get in touch with him, if you need help from reform in Clacton, it is kind of available. So you know, I don't know. Disappointed with him.
So there is support, yeah, if they need it from the party. Yeah, see, that's not something that's resonating a lot with a lot of people in a lot of areas. Exactly. But I guess they put in the effort into Clacton because obviously it's Nigel Farage in particular there. What do you think, Darren? Do you honestly think that if there was a by-election, like do you agree with me that it's just only going to make Nigel more popular?
Well, I get the feeling that you're probably right. He'll play the victim. What is it? He'll just play the victim. Say the establishment are out to get rid of me because they don't want me to be your prime minister. They're scared of me. They're trying every trick in the book to get rid of me, and he does it incredibly well. Now with Rupert Lowe, he says he's going to throw the kitchen sink at it. I think it could be interesting. Now, if he doesn't win as big a majority as what he did last time, interesting. But if he wins by a bigger majority, now, that'll be really, really, and like you say, there could be the bounce. So very, very interesting. See, the thing is, I've heard this a couple of times when it comes to Rupert Lowe. When it comes when he says the stuff that he says, it sounds more authentic than Nigel Farage does. You just get the feeling that Nigel just says whatever he needs to say. If he wants to try and pander to the centre ground, he will put top doff on his socialist hat on or whatever, say be so. Sorry to pull that. Sorry to pull that thought in your. Sorry to pull that thought. It's the fault. The thought of
the thought was so. Apologies, chat. It was so bad, those thoughts, that it made Graham want to be sick. So, I don't blame him for feeling that way.
Yeah, doffing his socialist hats on, to try and pander to the centre ground, and whereas you get the feeling with Rupert Lowe when he says what he says, he means it. Whereas
he's a much more convincing racist and bigot than Nigel is, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he is.
So it should be very, very interesting.
I can see them coming second, like beating the Tories in a by-election. I can actually see them beating the Conservatives in Clacton, but I can't see Restore beating Reform in Clacton. I can see them coming second if they did a run, but I can't see. I don't know who they would put forward. But like even if it was a celebrity, like I still don't think it would beat Nigel Farage, you know. But I could see them coming
I
second.
say what would be really interesting. Tell you what would be marvelous is if he was forced into a by-election in Clacton, and what he feared in Makerfield happened in Clacton, and he lost because Restore had taken, you know, that many votes that he ended up losing by like 100 votes or something, you know, because I mean, Sarah Poachin won by 6. You know, there's narrow margins going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't remind me of that.
Ratchet. Yeah, Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah. Twatchet.
As long as
Sorry.
well, according well, Sarah did say as long as the England team keeps winning, women are going to be safe, guys.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's just...
I hate that one. I hate that one.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
It's a word I like to use, but when it comes to it, I think it's relevant.
There is something I actually wanted to touch on with Andy Bone, but I didn't. I wanted to pull back. I didn't get to touch on with you guys, and I'm interested to hear what you guys in the chat think about this. Now, I will say, do take it a pinch of salt because of where it's from. But according to the Telegraph, Andy Burnham is set to ban Platinier from the NHS if he becomes Prime Minister. So, chat, let me know in the comments what you actually think if he does do such a thing. But Graham, I want to get your thoughts on the possibility if Andy Burnham does ban Platinier from the NHS. I'm not sure how exactly he would do that, considering how integrated it already is. But let's just go on I know it's the Telegraph, guys. I know it's the Telegraph, so do take it with a giant jar of salt. But let's say hyperbole that it is true and that he actually wants to do this. How big of a positive would that be if he was to do that, Graham?
I think it'd be a huge positive, but I think it's one of those things where, like, these organizations like Palantir, they've got such huge amounts of money and huge amounts of influence that we can't. I think we have to exist with them rather than fight against them. And I think they're absolutely despicable. I would love to see them, you know, wound up and pissed off, but I'm not. I think it's another one of those things. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but I think it's another one of those things that he might want to do it, but is he capable of doing it? Because they are so ingrained in not just Britain, and there's tendrils all over the world, isn't there? You know, America for a start. I liked hearing him say it, but
actions are more important than words.
Influence.
Yeah.
What do you think, Darren? Like, let's say let's say again, like, if he actually does it, like, what do you honestly think? Like, how realistic of it? I mean, Platinier was they were initially going to be used for the Metropolitan Police, but Sadiq Khan blocked it, didn't he? So,
well done, Sadiq.
Yeah. I just get the feeling that they're all words at the moment, aren't they? That's all they are. They're just words, and actions speak louder than words. It's easy saying it, but like you say, it would be nice, certainly. And I think it'll be a big, massive shot in his arm if he does it. But will he do it? Will he do it when it really comes to it?
Yeah. Jal says any banned American company is good news for the UK. We are doing it in the EU also. Yeah, I have seen some contracts being terminated from a few European countries by them as well, which is very, very good as well there.
Yeah.
Nigel Farage staying away from Clacton is adventurous to his inhabitants, says Chatty Rat there as well. That is quite true indeed for sure. There is also a very big mayoral race taking place in Manchester. There's going to be the race for the next mayor of Manchester is also taking place as well. It won't be till the end of this month. I think it's 30th of July is when it happens. But right now, it seems like it's kind of like a bit of a free horse race between Labour, the Reform, and the Greens. Last I checked, with regards to it, I need to actually Google it there. But Graham, I'd like to start you. Like, do you feel that the positive bounce that Andy Burnham has had from his time as mayor of Greater Manchester, the positivity around him, the kind of his connection with local people. I don't know who the Labour candidate is going to be, but do you think that will be enough for Labour to hold on to the mayor of Greater Manchester seat, given what he's done there?
No, I don't think it will. But that doesn't mean I don't think Labour can win. I don't think that alone will win it for them, because people seem to see Andy Burnham as, obviously we know he's Labour and people know he's Labour, but they seem to see him in this little bubble of his own personality instead. And they're not going to have that in the mayoral election. Whoever Labour chooses isn't going to have that. But what I think might get them over the line is there's going to be, like we've seen with every by-election, even Runcorn to an extent, she only won by 6 votes. I think what we've seen with every by-election, there will be an anybody but reform vote. And I think there might be enough people have got faith in a Labour candidate because of Andy Burnham. There might be enough people are just prepared to vote for whoever they believe will beat reform. And then just, the sort of underlying sort of voter base that there would usually be might put Labour over the line. But I'm not confident, because, Reform are going to throw everything at this, because it's really, after losing Makerfield, this is really meaningful to them now. They desperately want to win this. But let's see what they put forward, because look at Robert Kenyon and look at Matt Goodwin.
So I have the list of, do we have the Reform candidate list? So I've got the list of candidates. So let me, for those who don't know, so this is the Reform candidate for Greater Manchester Mayor. Season Asti, I think if I said
it's a woman, isn't it?
Yeah, who represents the Bangor ward on the council, featured on BBC One's DIY SOS and BBC Two series.
Vetted her yet.
So your homemade perfect before going into politics. She says she's been a Labour voter in the past, but added that vice-like grip that Labour has held over Manchester has been evident for decades. That's all I know of her there. So I'll give you the Labour candidate is Bev Craig. Her name is. So she is the Deputy Mayor for the Economy, Business and Inclusive Growth on the region's combined authority. She said Greater Manchester special place. So she's someone who's worked within the mayoral part already. So this special place from the industry, revolution, trade unions, corporation movements and suffragettes. This place has fought for progress. This place has changed my life over. Everything gave me opportunities I could never imagine. I spent my career trying to give something back. So she's someone who's basically who has experience in the area, has experience is someone from the area, and has also worked with Andy Burnham to a certain extent there. The Green candidate, I don't know enough about her. Her name is what's her name here? Geraldine Coggins. I covered her video promo video that she launched. Yes, that I looked at yesterday. I don't know when it was they launched it. And that was as I said, fucking awful. In my opinion, because it was just like. Yeah, for those who don't know, like for those who didn't see the video of the from yesterday's live stream that I covered, like she just kept going on about stopping reform rather than talking about what she as a mayor for Greater Manchester would actually do, which is like the whole point of why you're running in the first place. There, the Restore Britain candidate. The Restore Britain candidate, just in case anyone's interested, former mental health nurse Marlon West. He will stand in the contest, which was triggered by Andy Burnham's parliamentary seats. West became a prominent activist on the issue of child grooming gangs after his daughter Scarlett was targeted and raped, and that the pair published a book on their experience in plain sight. He said, "I've seen what good service looks like, and I have seen what happens when institutions fail the people that they're supposed to protect." That's all I know about him here. He says, Greater Manchester deserves better leadership. Maron's already proved his fights with the city. Now he wants to run it, basically. So this is actually a former mental health nurse. So I don't know how far that would get Marlon West. I don't think Restore Britain are going to win it, personally, because I don't think they're there. The Conservative, which will probably not get a deposit out of it.
Yeah, but it's still you can have, isn't it?
Phil Eckristy. currently represents Borden Ward and Traffic Council, where he and his deputy party leader showed executive member for health and care for him. So I don't think he will get far. The Liberal Democrats candidate probably won't get their deposit either. Richard Kirkpatrick, a former teacher who had been a councillor for Disbury area since 2018, is pledged to tackle the cost of living crisis, improve public service, and deliver desperate needing housing for the region. There, right there, just on those comments alone, like that sounds a lot better than the Green candidate, because he's actually mentioning stuff about wanting to make people's lives better.
Realism.
So that sounds realism there.
Pragmatism.
I haven't seen polling yet for this race, so I'll obviously have to see as it goes along. But I think right now, I think Labour are going to win it right now. But I can see it shifting. I can see it changing. I don't know if the Greens can win this, because the messaging at the start was piss poor from them, and they said they were going to go gun ho for this. Well, if they fail, it's not going to look great for the Greens, I will say, because they didn't go gun ho for this Makerfield, because of course they did because of the Andy Burnham ballots. But if they if they're going gun ho for this, with Zach Polanski and all the top Green people, and they don't get it, there's a possibility they might not even finish second. Like that could look really, really bad for the Greens.
Yeah,
I feel.
Darren,
what's
make
your
or break for them, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a make or break for them. I think it would be a setback for the Greens. I don't think it's a make or break if they don't win it.
Right.
But Darren, what's
no,
your
I wouldn't
about...
say they're going to collapse if they don't win it, but I think they'd very much like to win it, wouldn't they? And it would be a huge thing for them if they did.
I would say it probably will push them back. Obviously, there's a lot between now and then. Darren, what's your feeling about the mayoral election race? Like, do you think? Because my gut feeling is saying Labour's going to hold on to it. But what's your gut feeling on it?
Well, like you just said, you did say that she has worked with Andy Burnham, and it from what I can gather from an outsider looking in, it was quite a successful time in as mayor, So from what I've been hearing, a lot of people said cracking things out, how well things were going, and you just get the feeling that a lot of people, if things aren't affecting them too much in their lives, they'll usually carry on with the status quo, won't they? So I think you could possibly be right there. But like as you say, it could be very, very close. And when you spoke, I haven't seen the video from the Green candidate, but it kind of reminded me. It kind of reminded me, of the Remain vote. Vote Remain. Basically, you remember when it came to the Brexit, they basically said, "You vote to leave. Oh, it's going to be really terrible times for you. Going to be cats chasing dogs, boiling frogs, and seas turning black. Oh, my words! You need to, instead of basically
fear mongering."
Yeah, fear-mongering. Yeah, instead of basically, painting a positive vision, get people to say, yeah, I like the cut of her jib. I think she might just have my vote. So, and I also think that, you hear some people who say that, that if a party's going to split the vote, maybe they should not get involved in trying to win it, because in case somebody like, say, Reform get in. I'm always one of them where I tend to think, no, I go the other way. You need to fight harder for every vote, and hoping that, say a rival party takes a back pedal, you could say, so that you get an easy run. I'm not really one for that, because I think to myself, rightly or wrongly. So I think if you have more options, who you want to vote for, then more. What's the word I'm after? Word just went out of my head, but you know what I mean.
More options,
but
more choices, basically.
More choices, more options, and that's the
Hmm.
word. Yeah, that's better what I'm looking for. And so, as I say, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And
I do.
as you say, I think if things are still, he was very, very popular as Manchester Mayor, wasn't he? From what I could gather,
Yeah.
and so you might. I have a feeling that most people might just stick to the status quo. That's my gut reaction. But you know, you can never underestimate the power of the lunatic fringe, because the one thing's for certain, they will go out and vote in force, won't they? The lunatic fringe. So
I think this was what happened in the May election, in the local elections in May. It wasn't necessarily that Reform did, and they did do. I'm trying not to be too cynical. I don't want to take away from them or sound too biased. They did do well, but I also think there was an aspect of a lot of people went out and voted Reform, but a lot of people who would usually vote any other party in a general election just didn't bother to vote. So it made it look like Reform had done fantastic in the local elections, whereas really it was just because the fucking Reform voters were the only people who could be asked going out to vote in a lot of places.
Yeah. Because like I know a few areas in my area, they got some Reform councillors. I had a bit of a set to with a friend of mine, because he had this notion that just because he had a couple of pavement sweepers go up and down his street and some grass cutters, about a week ago, he thought, that's it. Reform are getting stuck in. That's it. They've sorted out my street, whatever. First time in since 1932 I've seen anything. And I just gently reminded him and said, this will have been planned months in advance. That this. Take it from me, as somebody who worked for the council for 30 years, I have never seen, spoken, or taken any instructions from a councillor. And did it work? No, did it bugger her? Did it bugger her? It says you're just a loony lefty, so why would I want to listen to you? Well, fair enough,
lefty.
Yeah.
My uncle Dave worked for Sefton Council in Liverpool for about 30 years. I'll have to tell you about him sometime. He was quite a character. He'd have never voted Reform.
Yeah.
I will say though that this mayoral race is actually going to be. It's the 30th of July, Chris. I believe it's when it's going to be. I will say that this is one where you don't have a Andy Burnham factor into this, and you also have Restore Britain into this as well. So this is going to be like the first test really for Andy Burnham's reign. It's going to be the first test of how are the Greens going to do in terms of challenging. It's going to be the first test of the Conservatives. Will they turn up at all? Like they haven't turned up at the last two by-elections in England. No. Are they going to turn up at all? The Lib Dems will be the Lib Dems. And if Reform do get this, how bad would it look for Andy Burnham was to, that he lost the mayoral, that he leaves the mayoral race, and all of a sudden,
It'll take the shine off his Maker field, won't it?
It would take the chime off, but also it's like how much tactical voting is going to take place. Tactical voting is going to be very difficult if you're going to have a Green party that's going to be going gun-ho for it. Like you'll have a lot of Green supporters. We'd be saying, no, we're not going to tactically vote. We're sticking with our candidate. You'll have some people in Labour saying, no, you guys are idiots. You should get behind us. But you also have it on the right where some people who will want to back Reform might back Restore because they like Restore a lot more than they like Nigel Farage and Reform because they're more for that. So you could actually have a situation with the Mail Manchester race where you could have where you won't have that much tactical voting because there'll be too much infighting both on the left and the right in this mayoral race. So which is kind of just something that really clocked on my mind when I thought about it, because you've got Restore now as a factor here. So I think it's going to be very fascinating to see what happens. I still think Labour are going to snatch it, but I can see right now I can only see three parties running it. I can see Labour retaining their seat, the mayoral position. I can see Reform taking it, or I can see an outside bet of the Greens. But I think it's more of an outside bet for the Greens right now. But they're going to have to do a lot between now and the end of this month to show show how serious. They're going to have to campaign their fucking asses off to really show everyone that they're serious about taking Labour and Reform out.
They've said right now throw everything at it, but have they got the money and the people to do so?
Well, they got the volunteers. They've got the volunteers. The volunteers are there. I've already seen. There's plenty of bodies on the ground. But again, like, you know, it's all about there'll be lots and lots of bodies on the ground there. But will it be enough to convince people to vote for them? That's another question. So I have to see on that. Speaking.
I would just. Oh, go on.
Go on. No, go on. Because I'm going to.
I can't. It's sort of like when you were talking about do you think that centre ground politics is now pretty much dead?
I think there is still a centre ground of politics. Because Mark Van Man Talks, he wants to be more centre rather than left leaning, because he wants to try and bring I feel like he wants to try and be more centre rather than left wing, right wing, because he, like me, like to a certain extent, wants to understand people on the right rather than kind of just trash talking people on the right sort of thing. I do think there is a space for people like that, because there are going to be people who like certain right wing policies and who also like certain left wing policies, because there's going to be people like that. There's going to be. I do think there is that space, but it's definitely a lot smaller than it used to be. It's a lot more. There's definitely a lot more extreme views, shall we say, now on both left and right. There's definitely left wing extremism, and I don't like being. I have been called left wing extreme by people, actually, believe it or not, which I think is a bit silly. But I just think that there are people on the left that go way too far. But I don't consider myself left wing extreme. I do consider myself more left wing, but I just try to be realistic with my politics. If I rather than claiming to be left, center, or right, or whatever, sort of thing with these terminologies. But it's different for everyone. David Guinness, thank you so much for the £5 super chat, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Two Davies YouTube channel.
David Guinness.
It says Biden will fail for two reasons: Brexit and the physical rules. Thank you for the first and foremost for the £5 super chat. Yep, we mentioned Brexit earlier. You're absolutely right. Brexit is the one thing that was not mentioned in his speech.
I hope he's wrong, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced he is. I won't be for some time yet.
Yeah, the physical rule thing is the big factor. And actually, speaking of physical rules, I guess that comes to the next big discussion, because everyone knows that Andy Burnham is just shoehorning to be the Prime Minister. But chat, I want you guys to throw me your names of who you think is going to be the next Chancellor of the Exchequer. I've got a good feeling, and I say good feeling, that Rachel Reeves is not going to be the Chancellor. That means that there's going to be other candidates who are going to be forward. So you've got Ed Miliband, you've got Wes Streeting, Yvette Cooper, Shabina Mahmood, John, what's his name? Pac McFadden has been another name that has been bantered around as well. I don't think Angela Rayner is going to take that position. I don't think anyone else on the outside is going to take that position. But those are the likely candidates who seemingly look like is going to be. Scrooge is a good shout, Billy Kershaw, but I don't think Scrooge is actually going to get the role, I'm afraid. There. But I don't think he would. I don't think Scrooge would make a great chancellor, if I'm perfectly honest.
He'd be a Tory, anyway.
I don't personally. I've said this. I've said this already, but I want you guys to know this as well. I do not want Ed Miliband as chancellor. I think I think he's so much better where he is now, and I think if you put him in that position, you'll upset a lot of people. And I think he'll be pressured far too much for that. I'm not saying that he can't be a chancellor. I can't say that he couldn't be a chancellor. I just think that role is not suited for him personally. I don't want Shabima Mahmood because I don't like her as a Home Secretary because I think she's a nasty, evil person, just like Suella Braverman. And
I agree with you, mate.
And the other Wicked Witch of the West. Oh, that's right, Priti Patel as Home Secretary as well. I think she's just got that evil vibe with them. It seems like every time they appoint a Home Secretary, it's like, how can I be more nastier? How can I be more mean? You know, I feel like that happens every time they pick her. So that's why I don't want Shabima Mahmood. I guess I probably would say if I had to pick a chancellor out of the names that I've pointed out, I guess I'd have to probably be West Streeting. I'd probably be West Streeting. Because it's like, well, who else am I going to pick? Like out of those names, out of the hat? Like, I don't want it to be Ed Miliband because I like where he is, but
well, he's got the face for it, Anna.
He does have the face for it, yeah.
Yeah, because it looks like a dodgy used car salesman, so he does have the face for it, don't he?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Yvette Cooper could be a much more safer pair of hands. I don't know what she's like with money.
That was what I was going to say. I'd back Yvette Cooper. She's been in politics so long, and she's really good at making the Saudis look like twats when she actually gets a chance to stand.
Yeah, she takes no prisoners, does she?
Oh, God, yeah, she doesn't. And I'm well aware. So I've mentioned it before in my videos and in my comments and things, and people have said, "Oh, she's got ties to Israel," and yeah, I accept that. But so is West Streeting. You know, it's. I think that Cooper's very competent.
She did prescribe Palestine action as well, though. She is the one.
She's an odd one. She's been in politics for a long time. She's a strong woman, and I do have some faith in Yvette Cooper. I think she might be the one that'd be good for the job.
Let's put this. I just want to put this on the record. She is the one that prescribed Palestine action, and poor Dave McGuinness and David Mulligan got a knock on the door thanks to her. I just want to put that on the I just want to put that on the record. This is why I don't want to give her the role, just because of what she did.
It's understandable.
That's the main reason. Like before she did that, I thought she was okay, and as soon as she did that, I was just like, I lost a lot of respect for her. Well, I didn't really have respect for her, but I thought she was okay. But I was just like, fucking hell, woman! Like, why would you do that? Like,
she lost the possibility of never gaining your respect.
Yeah. She lost any possibility of being like, oh, I thought she's okay. Actually, no, she's just a fucking Israeli stooge. Darren, go on, Darren. Tell us who's going to be your Chancellor of the Exchequer. Ed Miliband, West Streeting, Shabima Mahmood, Yvette Cooper. Okay. Hell, you can pull someone out from the Labour backbenchers that you might like. John McDonnell, yeah, that'll be a good one. I'm sure the Labour Friends of Israel would love that one.
Rebecca Long-Bailey.
How about just to really shove it up to Keir Starmer, just appoint Catherine West as Foreign Secretary. Catherine West. She started the ball rolling, didn't she? Yeah.
Diane Abbott. That would be a nice. Oh, bloody hell, Diane Abbott. Oh, Diane Abbott. What? Jesus Christ.
I think Diane Abbott has got a lot to be proud of in her life, and I think she's a nice lady. I think if you know her, you probably love her. But I'm not sure I believe she's a good politician.
No, she has shot herself in the foot a few times, though. That is for sure. You know, what was that story about her on the tube or something ages ago that she...
the Mojiso.
Yes, that's it, yeah. Chat, you still haven't given me your names yet. Toby Jones. Chris C says Mahmoud needs to be sent back to the backbenchers. That's not going to happen. As much as I agree with you, that's not going to happen. If Streeting is made Chancellor, I don't expect anything to change. I get that. I can get that. Yeah. Here's a question. I'm not trying. Chris says, "Here's a question. I'm not trying to be sexist in any way or form, but why have the last 4 female Home Secretaries brought ultra conservative views to the role? It's to appease the right wing vote, the right wing media, to keep them quiet and try not to get too mad about immigration. But the problem is that it doesn't matter how much they they try to appease them, they're still going to get mad about something in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
it's the answer.
Because it's a little bit like the one of my favorite films is series is A Very British Co. You know, where Harry Perkins, first socialist prime minister, and he's got the swashbuckling foreign secretary, Bradford teacher, and all that. Who's his who's his chancellor? Very centre, very rich. Labour MP. Keep the stock, those in the stock markets and whatever. You keep them sweet and all that, and so don't be surprised. See, the thing is, I don't know why, but I can see Shabana Mahmood shining in that role. I don't know why, because I don't know if she's got any kids, but if if she did have any kids and there's Brussels sprouts on the dinner and they don't like Brussels sprouts, I can imagine she'll have them eating their Brussels sprouts with that steely-eyed look on her face. She
would be tight with the bunny. She would be tight with the purse strings. That's for sure. You know, she would be. She'd be like, "Fuck off." You know, you want money? Fuck off. Like, I can see her. I could just see her basically telling people to stuff it every time they come and ask for money. Yeah. You know, she could be someone like that.
She might have a job and a half on with Dan Jarvis, the steely-eyed messenger of death, though.
I would like Richard Burden just to be shoved all the way to the cabinet position as well, cabinet position. But again, like, he's too left-leaning for them there. And Jal says Angela and her boots would terrify reform. Oh my god, the Daily Mail would have a fucking meltdown if Angela became chancellor.
Do you think she wears them outfits just on purpose? Do you think she wears them outfits on purpose?
They would literally have a dedicated spot in the Daily Mail every single day of her till the day she goes as chancellor.
Yeah. Raina watch. What's she been doing today?
Exactly, fucking pervs. That's exactly what they would be doing. That's exactly what they would be doing. They really would. Oh.
If I were Angela, I'd just troll them by wearing some of the most outrageous outfits just to wind them up.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? That would be absolutely brilliant. I like it anyway, but I'd love her more if she did that.
I would like her to troll the Daily Mail in some way, shape, or form. Like, I would like her to do that, you know, in some sort. I think it would be really funny indeed. Yeah, I think we'll have to. Well, obviously, we'll have to wait on seeing a lot of other positions as well. But Max believes that there should be a complete change in the cabinet. I don't think that's going to happen, but there will be some shuffling around for it for sure. But it will be interesting to see who goes what where, and how many people actually stay in their roles as well, because he does have to shake. Yes. He has to shake the cabinet up. Because if he keeps too many people in the same position, because if he keeps too many people in the same position, they'll be like, what, you know, it's like, okay, we changed the head, but the same people are around. It's like, you're not gonna switch it up a little bit or anything like that. You know, that's gonna come. It's gonna be a bit.
I think it'll be interesting to see where David Lammy ends up.
Yeah, the Foreign Secretary one is a difficult one because, like, I don't think Keir Starmer's going to get that role because some people have suggested he should get it. I was like, no, keep him on the back benches. Keep him on the back benches. Like, that's the best thing to do.
There's got to be a clean break with Starmer.
Yeah. Put him on the back benches. Like, after this, like, it's not a good idea to put him in a cabinet position. Like, some people have even suggesting bringing David Miliband back, and I'm just like, what? You want to shoehorn him into a Lord position and get him straight in the cabinet? Like, no, like. They did that with David Cameron and the Conservatives. Please, come on, can we not do that? Like, even someone suggested Gordon Brown, and I was like, fuck off. I can't remember what paper it was, but someone said bring back Gordon Brown, and I was like, are you? was like,
I have to say,
You know what?
every time I hear the name Gordon Brown, it always reminds me of the Nick Cabot show, because he's got his soundboard. Every time he says Gordon Brown, all he does is a Darth Vader breathing, and I just miss myself laughing.
look, I'm not saying look, I don't have anything against Gordon Brown, but like he's getting on a little bit, and it's kind of like, you know, we've moved on. Like you want like some, like I would like some fresh young blood to appear in the cabinet, like people who were like totally out of the blocks. I was like, oh, who's this? Like, how's this? Why is this person taking this role? You know, sort of thing. Like that, I would like that. You know, 1 or 2 backbenchers, that people that you don't know, who have been pushed forward in that you just haven't heard of before, put in these positions. This is my biggest criticism of the Conservative Party, like, because half that shadow cabinet opposite, like, they're all the same fucking Looney Tunes that were in the Conservative government, and it's just like you're like you're all the same fucking people. Like, if Kemi would actually be more popular if her shadow cabinet actually has some bright new faces instead of the same old Dulwits. Would actually because people would say, well, at least she's changing things around. But no, you have to maintain the status quo, you know. But
See, the thing is with Kemi Badenoch, if she ever decided to sell her own perfume, it will be called Self-Belief.
Yes.
Because she's got so much she could bottle it because she would make a mint out of it. So much self-belief. It's like the last couple of weeks, even when you've got an outgoing prime minister who's a dead man walking, and she both weeks she practically messed it up chronic. So, but yeah, I agree with you. You know, when it comes to the shadow front bench, no different really, is there?
No.
It's really.
Can I just say,
go on.
Chris Sears said there in the comments, Gordon Brown was the best chancellor the UK had. I am sorry. Don't have to be sorry for expressing an opinion like that, mate. I think I tend to agree with you. Really, it's definitely.
I'm not hating on Gordon. I'm not implying that Gordon Brown was bad, because obviously he did make a big difference when it came to the 2008 financial crash. You know,
he just wasn't capable of winning the general election.
Yeah.
He was a good man. He's a good man, a good politician, and a sensible fella. But he just couldn't win an election because he had his glass eye, and he just wasn't. He was so dour, you know.
I wasn't into politics, I wasn't into politics back then. But I remember I wasn't into politics back then. But I remember one time I actually, for whatever reason, I listened to one debate somewhere, and then I just remember him doing a smile, and it was just one of the most ugliest smiles. And it was like what the fuck is that? Like just straight away, I was like, no.
It's like when he smiled, you're thinking, is he smiling or breaking wind? You know what I mean? But yeah, I know what you mean. Because like when it came to the 2008 crash, if it wasn't for him and was it Alistair Darling? If I remember,
Darling with the white eyebrow. Was it white eyebrows and black hair? He had?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, was it the other way around? I know it was one
the other way around or something. Yeah.
They basically rescued the whole situation with a financial crash, didn't they? Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough. But it's 2026 now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you need fresh young blood is all what I always say, but you're not going to get that, unfortunately.
I think it would look weak. I think if they were to bring Gordon Brown, I know there's been several people saying it, and I have heard of it and that. But I think if they were to get to a point when they're bringing Gordon Brown back, who's not elected and stuff, and it makes them look weak. It makes them look like they haven't got any talent in the Labour Party. Despite
we don't have a plan.
Yeah,
we got no plan, so we're going to bring back the Blairites. That's essentially what they are saying. You know, never mind the 400 MPs we got behind us, or some of the new fresh faces. Yeah. Now we can't trust any of them. We got to bring back the Blairites.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a personal slight on him. It's a slight on the fact that if they started bringing people like that back, it would make Labour look weak, like they haven't got enough talent.
How about another one for Chancellor Fits and Giggles, Carl Turner.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say Count Binface there, and I would have been like, "Oh, that's you know."
Yeah, I'd go for that as well.
Yeah, imagine, yeah, he'll put plenty of money into, you know, he'll put plenty of money into CFAX, guys. I think that'll be a very good investment, business decision, you know.
Yeah.
And he'll bring down the price, and as Chancellor, he will bring down the price of croissants, which he meant croissants as well. So, because that is something that he has pledged in his manifesto.
Oh, I was never going to win with that. Croissants are French. Fuck the EU.
Carl Turner.
We want jam on toast, marmalade on toast, and we want a gollywog on the jar.
Yes.
Yes. One thing that is kind of ironic, and I do say ironic. So when the Labour government came in, guys, we got told about this £22 billion black hole that the Conservatives left, guys. And it was just like, oh, the Conservatives left this money for them to clear up and whatnot, guys. And you remember they couldn't stop going on about the bloody black hole. Well, funny that, you know, you had Keir Starmer constantly moaning about it. Well, what does the Keir Starmer, the outgoing Prime Minister, does? Well, he's going to leave a big doo-doo of his own black hole when he leaves as Prime Minister for Andy Burnham to clean up, because he's leaving a massive deficit when it comes to the defence spending here. I think it's like I can't remember the exact number. Oh, there we go. £4.7 billion that Andy Burnham's got to find somewhere, or his new Chancellor's got to find somewhere. So, yes, Keir Starmer, who kicked off and moaned about a black hole being left by the Conservatives, is leaving a black hole for Andy Burnham to fill up. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, I get it. You're upset about being kicked to the curb and, you know, having 500 people telling you, Keir Starmer, you're fucking unpopular, you need to move. And I get it. You want to prove people wrong and whatnot, right? I get it that you're going to... Yeah, I get all that, right? But do you really have to leave a giant shit on the office, yeah? You know, on your way out? Like, do you not have any, like, decency and respect? And I suppose someone in the chat's about to say, no, of course not. But, like, just, like, why would you do that? Like, honestly, like, I just, like, like, he's trying to so-called leave his legacy. Like, I mean, dude, like, you said it was all right for... Like you will be remembered as the guy that said it was all right for Israel to cut off the water for Gazans. You're like people haven't forgotten that comment, you know. I mean, what do you honestly think of it? Like leaving this £4.7 billion debt for Andy Burnham to cough up, Graham. Like how do you feel about it? It kind of pisses me off a lot because it's like. You're supposed to be on the same team, and here you are stabbing one of your fellow teammates in the back, yeah, just because you're pissed off about like being kicked to the curb, you know.
A couple of things I've read today in preparation for this and earlier in the week as well. I've said that apparently Andy Burnham isn't too bothered by it, but then another part of me is like, he's going to say that. He's going to say that, isn't he? You know, he's not going to come out and say like, yeah, Keir Starmer's a bastard. He's left me this massive mess to fix. Of course, he's not going to say that. So I'm not sure I'm getting the truth on it, really. But it's a problem. It is a problem. And then you're going to have fucking Badenoch on the other side saying, "Oh, make poor people poorer in order to fill this gap," and you know, and obviously Reform are going to be saying the same thing, aren't they? So yeah, I think he's going to struggle with it a bit. But I think maybe it'll be a test of whether he is actually economically, you know, financially capable, is in how he deals with that. I suppose time will tell. I mean, I feel like I've said that about 10 times today, but we are in a position, aren't we, where like everything's kind of in limbo, and we won't really know until we've seen him in office and seen what sorts of policies he starts to enact. It's a massive black hole for a country like. I mean, we're far from one of the poorest countries in the world, but we're not necessarily, you know, one of the richest either. And finding money like that does involve moving things around. And let's see what he moves around.
Yeah, it's also Dame against remind us as well, of course, yeah, with these black holes, because he's mentioned it before. It's impossible for there to be a black hole as they can print the money they need. Yeah, but will they print the money?
Doesn't work like that, though, does it? quantitative,
but they don't.
quantitative
You know,
eating.
yeah, well, they don't. David, they
You
don't
probably
want to
know more
make
about
it.
it than me,
David,
Dan.
you know they don't want to make it easy for themselves. You know they want to make it more difficult. You know they want to make it more difficult. So just to piss you off, so you can do another angry rant about it.
Yeah. I think Dave's talking about my drinking partner. Dave is talking about the magic money tree.
Yeah, I think Dave probably understands more about that kind of thing than I do, to be honest.
Yeah, there can never be a black hole as they can print the money they need. So you're saying Keir Starmer lied about the £22 billion black hole? Of course he was lying about it. They literally. Thank you again for the £5 super chat.
I think he lied. I think he massaged the truth, and maybe some people would call that lying, I suppose. But I don't think he lied as deceptively and deliberately as people like Rupert Lowe or Kemi Badenoch.
Well, the thing is, they're holding the purse strings.
Economical with the truth.
Well, they're holding the purse strings, so they can kind of say what they want because they're in government.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you can't say they're not wrong because, like, well, we don't see the books, they see the books. So it's like, you have to take their word for it. Whereas, like, well, what if I don't want to take your word for it? Well, we're the ones holding the strings.
Yeah.
I should just point out something. Chris C wanted to. Chris C mentioned this actually, so I'm going to see if I can share this with the chat here. This happened today, chat. Let's see if I can bring this up. There it is. This is legit. This is not AI. This image you're seeing on the screen here, guys. This is Rachel Reeves working at McDonald's. I kid you not. Yeah, this is. I don't know what was worse, chat. Rachel Reeves working at McDonald's, or Kemi Badenoch who worked at McDonald's as well and claimed that she was working class.
Yes, working class.
So who was the? So this is the question, chat. This is the big question, chat. I need you to answer with a simple word. Who was better at McDonald's, Kemi Badenoch or Rachel Reeves? One word. Come on, in the chat. Who is the better McDonald's worker? Graham, who is better? Who would be better? Who would you rather be served at the counter at McDonald's? Rachel Reeves or Kemi Badenoch? Graham, you go first.
Do you know what? I'd be fine with either of them as long as they could put enough milk in me latte and make sure that me burger didn't have too many gherkins on. I'd be all right with it. There's just no difference, is there? They're both just career politicians, like rolling through life and like trying to be as important as they can be. I think I dislike Kemi Badenoch more than I dislike Rachel Reeves, but I haven't got a massive love in my heart for Rachel Reeves either.
No, neither have I. That's why I would pick Rachel Reeves, just because I don't like Kemi Badenoch. You know, I just think she's a nasty person. But Darren, you're going to McDonald's. Yeah, but Darren, you're going to McDonald's and you're getting served by either Rachel Reeves or Kemi Badenoch. Who are you picking?
It's got to be. I'd probably just say Rachel Reeves because I just find listening to Kemi Badenoch there is something because I get the feeling she gets a sexual thrill out of cruelty, and
yes,
I get the feeling she has.
Step out for a sec.
I get the feeling she gets off on performative cruelty and especially massive cruelty, and she has that patronizing voice. I won't be able to help myself. If I'm being served by Kemi Badenoch, can I have 3 unhappy meals, please, Kemi? And I'd just leave it at that.
DJ Martimu says neither of them would last a full shift. I agree. I don't think either of them would last a full shift, if I'm absolutely honest there. Gal says, luckily I don't like fast food. Well, what if you went to a restaurant and you were served by one of those two? Who would you pick, Jal? I gotta say though, it's kind of like, why McDonald's of all places? Like, why not somewhere else? Like, why couldn't you pick somewhere else? You know, what is it with McDonald's? Like, there's plenty of other places. Well, there is a video I want to play before we wrap up, but Graham has popped away for a moment. But I just, while I wait for him to come back, chat, I will just mention that that Keir Starmer is going to put in emergency legislation to allow certain pubs, not all pubs, certain pubs to allow to stay open until 5 a.m. for the England-Mexico match, in case anybody's interested in that. But don't worry, I've got a video that will definitely delight every single Scottish, Welsh, Northern Irish, and Irish fan, and every non-England fan who is in the chat. I've got a video that you'll definitely like, and I sent it to Darren, so hopefully he will play it again tomorrow for all the non-England fans as well, because it will definitely be a funny one. But look, regardless, I do think those small little things it's nice. It's a nice little thing, like for the Prime Minister to do that. It's a boost it's a boost to our economy. It's a boost to the pubs, for the hospitality, when England go further, for us. So I think in that sense, it's good. At the same time, it's not really good having pubs open all night, though. To be fair, but it is only one night. I will say that though. So I will say on that there. One other thing as well, actually, just before we go to the video, I will say this. I've got this here. It's a story that dropped a few hours ago, guys. So the Culture Secretary Lisa Andy, she announced that she has quit X in the protest at misinformation. The Culture Secretary, she put out a tweet basically saying she's basically had enough, and basically saying it isn't healthy for our democracy and our communities. I don't want to support it. And she basically told everyone to go follow me in other platforms, essentially, is what she's basically said. So she says she's done with X. And there's been kind of a mixed reaction. Obviously, the haters are like haters, but I don't know. Like, the problem is X is I can understand some people don't like X. I mean, I use it because I do feel it's a reliable source of information. I say it is a good source of information. I say not reliable.
Reliable isn't the right word there, mate.
Reliable is not the right word, no. But there are I would say there are reliable accounts of information.
There's a lot of information there.
Of information out there. So before I go to that video, what's your reaction basically to? And do you think other ministers should follow suit, Graham? Do you think other ministers should follow suit in Lisa Andy in quitting X?
Yes, I think as far as maybe I'm a bit biased, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, everyone should leave X. It's absolutely disgusting. It's a gutter of just idiots, racists, bigots. Every type of phobe you can, transphobes, homophobe, every type of phobe you can imagine. Twitter, X is absolutely disgusting, and if I was in any sort of parliamentary position, I would ban it entirely. But maybe that would be a bit extreme. I'd get attacked, wouldn't I? Freedom of speech and all that. But yeah, I fully support her on that. I think she's right. I would like to see more MPs do that. I would like to see. I would say Prime Minister, but it's all a bit in the air at the moment, isn't it? But I would love to see whoever our Prime Minister is in a couple of weeks make a speech where they say X Twitter is a detrimental and damaging thing on British society, and we're going to block it from Britain. But that's never going to happen. Now I've got to accept that that's never going to happen. But yeah, I would support any MP of any party. Even it's never going to happen because fucking Lee Anderson loves it, doesn't he? And Farage and that, they lie on it every single day. But I would support any MP of any party who stood up against X because it's a disgusting carnival of lies and misinformation and racism. And that's what I feel about X.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I totally understand that. Darren, do you think other ministers should follow Lisa Andy in quitting X?
Well,
or would you rather say each to their own? Or with that?
It's one of them things, isn't it? Well, if they decided right, we're all coming off Twitter, then yeah, then get my vote. See, the thing is, if you ban X, the only downside is how we're going to get our cutthroat in your face, raw, live American reporting from my Friday Frolic correspondent Maggie Reid.
Exactly.
the only
What
trouble.
would I do? Something not far right videos? I wouldn't. I'd struggle to.
Well, luckily for you, Darren, there's this thing called a VPN. You see. Yeah. Well, if you need to, we'll set you up for it. I'll set you up for it. I know a guy.
You know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah. That knows Donald Trump. Yeah.
I hate that.
My personal opinion before we go to the funny video, guys, is I think like I can understand women not wanting to be on the platform because of the messages they get all the time.
Oh God, yeah,
on it. So like I can totally understand that. So and like I think it's each to their own with the platform. Now I personally use it a lot, not just for politics, but for wrestling as well. And obviously that's a different kettle, of course. And I do rely on it for a good source of information on that as well.
Yeah, I throw stuff about
but if you took the politics out of X, I think it would be fine as a platform. The politics, if you took the politics out of it, I think it'd be a lot better as a platform.
Yes.
But the problem is the politics is really harming the platform. And you have the owner who is harming the platform with his political views as well, which is a big problem. And I think if you took that away, like it's not just about the politics with X. There's so many other things that connects people together outside of politics on that platform, as well as other platforms as well.
Yes.
So, and this is obviously that ties into the whole social media ban, which is a big hoo-ha.
Yeah, this is what I always say about Facebook, Reagan. I always say about Facebook, it's like, all right, yeah, you get battered with politics. You even so much as mention politics, the algorithms will pick up on it, and you'll get 25 adverts telling you for the Dorset Reform UK support page and the Knowsley Reform UK support page and the Rupert Lowe support. You know, you get battered on Facebook if you mention politics. But if you're just on Facebook, just genuinely chatting to people you went to school with 30 years ago and you know, looking at nice pictures and funny memes and stuff, then these things can be a good thing. That was what social media was intended to be when it started.
Yeah. And then all the capitalists took over, didn't they, fuckers?
Yeah.
And and on that note, guys, before we head out, I'm gonna try and play a video while there's because I haven't done this with two guests on, but I wanted to play this because I wanted to play this video for all the Scottish friends, our Welsh friends, our Northern Irish friends, for every single European out there, for every North American friend, South American friend, Asian, Africa, who are all against England and desperate for the Mexicans to beat England. To beat England, I wanted to play this video. I can't remember the film. I can't remember the film this is from. But basically, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of reference. This is from a film in where England are losing to Mexico by 2-0. The England manager is Mike Bassett, and he gives a halftime speech, which, well, you can kind of make of what you will of whether or not it was a real game-changing speech or not, chat. So let me see. Hopefully, cross fingers. I will hope. Let's hope. Yeah, people will be able to hear it. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit because it does get very loud at half time. I will just let you guys know that. Right. If it plays, please play.
Stadium, and England trail Mexico by 2-0.
Have you heard what the crowd is shouting at me? They should be shouting at you, and you know why? Because it's...
Damn it! It's too much for the computer. Fuck.
In halftime, and we're f***ing 2-0 down to the Mexicans. What's wrong with it?
Damn it! No, it's not gonna work, chat. It's not the. I can tell it's my computer's not going to be able to cope with it.
That was
I said I was going to play it on the Good Morning Show, and I forgot to play it. Right, I will play it tomorrow morning on the Good Morning live stream for you guys. I'll have to leave it there just because it's a bit too much. Yeah, it's too much for
Oh,
the live stream there. So, guys, I want to say a massive thank you. Thank you, Daily Blase and GRAEMEPRYCE, for both coming on. Very much appreciate it. Very nice chat indeed.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Yes. And Daily Blase will be back with me in 2 weeks' time for another round table. And it's a very special one with Dave McGuinness, a return of the mighty David McGuinness, of course. And
My drinking partner.
Your drinking partner. And Van Man Talks will be returning to the round table as well. So it'll definitely be very interesting conversations indeed for that one in 2 weeks' time. So do join us for that. Another good friend of ours is One Angry Pagan. He will be joining me next week on Thursday for an Eco Flake show. Do consider checking that out as well. And Graham will be back again later this month, at the end of the month.
I will.
For the Reform Watch, because we got to cover Reform once again.
Yep.
And
whenever you're ready, mate.
Yeah, we got to call out all the bollocks that Reform are doing once again, guys. They do tend to make us lose our temper sometimes with some of the shit that comes up.
Just a bit.
But
I went off on one a few times last time, didn't I? But it gets the point across, and that's the main thing.
That it does indeed. It does indeed, guys. So thank you, Dave McGuinness, for the super chats tonight. Thank you guys for all your comments and your contributions. Very much appreciate it, guys. Also, make sure you check out Power to the People's YouTube channel, link is in the description, and at Daily Blase's YouTube channel, link is in the description. GRAEMEPRYCE, I believe you'll be going live on Sundays. Is that right? Do you go live every Sunday now?
Yes. I might try and get another little video out before then, because there are a couple of things I want to talk about. But if I don't manage it, then somewhere between 5 and 6 on Sunday, I will definitely be doing a live stream. And can I just say as well, is it Kirsty? Let me have a look. Kirsty Hamilton has just asked in the chat, what is the doggie's name? Her name is Annie. She's named after Annie Lennox. She's not quite as good a singer though.
I'm still sure that video I showed last week of that little Jack Russell causing trouble in that fountain. I'm sure that was your dog.
Yes, guys. So do check out Graham's live stream this Sunday at 5 or 6 p.m. whatever time it drops on there as well. Please do. But also tomorrow, Daily Blase, you've got a live stream of your own, haven't you, my friend?
Yes, Friday Frolics. Yeah, where we just relax as way into the weekend, where nothing too heavy. We just have fits and giggles, and especially giggle at the Orange Man, and we always get the catch up with my American correspondent Maggie Reed, and Robbie Rogue Steamer.
Oh, very, very good indeed. Yeah. Very, very good indeed. I'm sure Darren will have some. Yeah. It's a nice relaxer there for indeed. Guys, also just a couple of other YouTubers before I go as well. Graham Hughes goes live on 9 a.m. for the morning brew. If you're up that early and you want to check out Graham Hughes of the World YouTube channel as well. At 10:30 will be Dave McGuinness with the on youtube.com/2 Davies with a round of the morning papers from a Scottish perspective there. I'll be live at 11 a.m. With my Good Morning Show. So if you could join me for an hour, I'd be greatly appreciated. There's also Phil Morehouse will be at midday with his live stream. I believe they will have the agenda. Phil Morehouse and Graham Hughes at 1 o'clock as well, I believe. And then at 3 p.m., because I did see it in the chat, Witchy Goth will be live tomorrow. Witchy Goth, who's been in the chat, she'll be live tomorrow at 3 o'clock as well. So do check out her. And Max Robespierre will be live at 8:30 as well. A Thompson will also be live as well at 7:30 as well. So there's lots of great YouTubers who are going to be live tomorrow on Friday as well, guys. So I'm literally going to press the end button now. So on your way out, if you can, guys, hit that like button, share us across social media, subscribe to all our channels as well. And we will catch you all very, very soon. Take care, everyone.